Good morning. Good morning. How are you doing this morning? It's a beautiful day here in Georgia. It feels like springtime outside, early spring, though, I will say. And it's going to get up nice and warm today. So, um, whether it was or not, I would still feel great. So, I am grateful that it is going to be a beautiful day. But as I always say, when you open your eyes in the morning and you can actually do something, it's a beautiful day, right? So let me pull this up on my phone really quick. Give me just a second. All right, hold on. I'm working on it. Give me just 1 second. All right, and I've got one more thing I need to do, and then I will get straight to the conversation. All right, so I believe we are there. So, like I was saying, it's a beautiful day here in Georgia. I am actually in a suburb north of Atlanta, and um, the birds were chirping, the sun was coming up, and when I was outside walking the dog, and it was just extraordinarily beautiful. And so I'm always grateful when for one thing, when I actually wake up in the morning, that's a great thing to be grateful for, right? Let me take a sip of my coffee. I have to have I'm very grateful for my nice cup of coffee this morning as well. So, what do you have going on in your world that you can be grateful for just from the get go, right? And I don't know where you are in the world. It could be evening where you're at. So, I'm going to go ahead and share the affirmation. And so let's dive in. But as you get here, make sure that you say hello and let me know that you're here. And let's get the show on the road. Let's see. I want to make sure I don't want to be leaving anybody out. All right. So our affirmation for today is I trust the path to my dream, knowing that every step I take is leading me closer to my purpose. I embrace the journey with faith, courage, and gratitude. And one of the reasons that this one was really calling my name to create this morning was because, a lot of times we talk quite a lot together, and I'm always saying that a lot of opportunities show up as obstacles, right? And so I was listening to a gentleman on YouTube this morning, and he was talking some about, how we set goals for our new year. We set goals for different things, and goals are a dream with a deadline kind of thing, right? And I'm not a fan of setting goals. I don't really set goals. I set desires and intentions and declarations of what I choose to do. But then I let it play out as it's supposed to play out. Because there have been many times, many times that I was in that place where it was hardwired in me that I was supposed to set a goal and I had to set this time limit on it or it wasn't going to happen. But 9 times out of 10, I'd never reached that goal. And it always deflated me. It always gave me this feeling of being a failure. And so I thought there has got to be something different, right? And we've talked. Oh, I see somebody said hello. Let me see if I can see it over here. Is it Mary? Mari? Did I say, is it Mari? I apologize. People spell their names very differently sometimes, so it could be Mary. I don't know. So, Mari, but thank you for being here. I'm so grateful you're here. So, the thing that I struggled with for such a very long time was why I couldn't make anything work, right? And it felt like anything because it seemed like, and I don't know, maybe, we've talked a little bit about we have a financial thermostat, we have a business thermostat, we have a level of inside that says this is as far as I can go. And so I'm pretty sure the reason I never reached those goals that I wanted to was that I probably stretched way too far because I was listening to this guru that told me you're supposed to dream that big, right? And then not only that, but I never believed it was possible. And then I had a thermostat that even if I had reached there, I wouldn't have been able to keep it. And so there are so many things that were going on, and I'm wanting to. I worked really hard from that point once I realized some of the things that was going on within me to trust and to not set these strict timelines of things that are goals or what is it, the resolutions. We create New Year's resolutions. I don't do that anymore because New Year's resolutions are something that is like a pie in the sky, and you're probably not going to do it because most people that set these resolutions as they go into the new year by February 1st, which today's February 1st, by February 1st, if not by March 1st, they've kind of moved on and they're not even thinking of it anymore. Now, there are exceptions to that, and I'll agree. And kudos to those people, right? But majority of the people have already left those to the wayside. And that's why the gyms are always full in January, but it gets lower and lower and lower unless they do some kind of big push to bring in more people, which they have to do all year long because people wane away from those goals. And so I'm really wanting to invite you to look at today is to trust in your dream. And I shared the other day one of my there's one of my books that I really love is the hold on a second, it just went right out of my head. The Code of an Extraordinary Mind, and it's by Vishen Liakani. I never feel like I say his last name correctly, but he is the founder of Mind Valley. And so I love that book because he talks about the rules of society and how people encourage you to dream certain things that may not even be your dreams. At least when I read it the last time, that was my interpretation. I really need to read it again because, as we learn and we grow and we become someone else, the things that we read change. I've talked about it many times, is that I'll highlight pieces in the book that I love and that mean something to me. And then the next time I read it, I think, why did I have that highlighted? This is what's really speaking to me. And I don't even remember seeing that last time. So I don't know if you have that same experience, but I certainly do. It's almost like somebody came in the middle of the night and threw in some words and they weren't there before because I didn't even notice them, right? So as we change, what we notice changes. And it's in books as well. Can you share the title again? Yes, it is The Code of the Extraordinary Mind. And it's a very, very good book, I will tell you. So if you get it and you read it, definitely let me know your thoughts because it's definitely been one that I've loved. So our affirmation, I trust the path to my dream. So we figure out what is our dream, not what people are saying. You should be dreaming for $1 million. You should be dreaming for this huge house. You should be dreaming for this car. And that's what, all the commercials and a lot of people that are showing you how successful they are. That's what they're showing. You should be wanting your own plane. You should, right? And so there's this compulsion to almost dream those dreams. The thing is figure out what your dream is. And like I was in one of the let's see, which one was it we were in? I think it was when we were doing Sue and I have a program called Rewrite Your Money Story, and it actually starts this month. And the one of the things that we talked about in there was that, we pick up other people's dreams. They're not ours. And so one of the things that we talked about was, why is it that you want to be more successful? Why is it that you really want money? And it come to find out, several of the people, it was that they wanted to be able to be amazing philanthropists. They wanted to create foundations to help certain people. They wanted to be able to financially support their causes that they loved, the companies that were producing certain things, right? And so that's a big reason to have money, right? That has nothing to do with possessions. That has everything to do with the difference that you want to make in the world. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with possessions. Hell, I want some too, right? There are things that I dream of, but I don't want that big, huge house. I want a really classy, smaller house that is just amazing, right? And so I want what I want. But there was a long time ago that I actually had a dream board that had one of those big houses on it, because they said dream big. And so I'm dreaming big. But it didn't have to be big like that, just exactly what I wanted. A house exactly the way I want it, right? And so it was diving into, what is my friggin' dream? What is it that I really want out of this? And like you've heard this more and more times than I could probably count. I know I have. And because the reason we want all this financial abundance and everything in the end is to be really happy, to feel free, to be able to help the people we want to help. Right? And so what is your dream? So take some time today to dive in and figure out, what is that dream? And then I want you to trust the path to that dream, because every step is leading you closer to that dream, that purpose. And go into this journey, embrace it with faith, courage, and gratitude. Courage, because sometimes, like I said, your opportunities show up as obstacles, and it's the courage to recognize them, that they may be an obstacle. They may be something that's kind of feels like in the moment it's holding you back, that it's keeping you from where you're supposed to be. But in actuality, it's there to either make you stronger, or it's there to make you go into a different path, to go in a different direction. It's rerouting you around something that you don't need. And so our path is not always a straight shot, right? It can be, but it's going to have dips and curves along the way. Hell, we're human. So trust the path, whether it's a curvy one, a hilly one, just trust the path. And the thing that I always love to think about when it comes to these obstacles is that when I see that it's an obstacle, how can I make it part of my dream? How can I see it as, this is just getting me ready and getting me prepared for this amazing thing? Because where I sit today, not to say that I am exactly where I want to be yet. No. And in actuality, nobody is. No matter where you get, you're going to have another dream. That's what keeps us alive. That's what keeps us going, right? And so I continually redo my dream. I reevaluate things and say, okay, that was great. I've done this. Now what, right? But where I sit right now, a year ago, I would not have been able to handle what I do now. I had to go through these little things to get me to where I understood how to do certain things, like even the technology to get on here and share in different places, right? And so it's like you're learning and you're growing and you're becoming, right? So think about it. When you first learn to tie your shoes, let's go back there, okay? You couldn't tie them. There were like these little things. Your hands just didn't coordinate very well to put those shoestrings in the right place, right? And it took some effort. It took some learning. And after a while, it was so simple. You could tie your shoes without even looking. And the thing is that you couldn't go from just not even being able to coordinate your hands to having it perfect, right? Doing it without even looking. There was a process that you had to go through because you had to get the dexterity of your hands going. And there were other things that you were doing that was helping that, right? Picking up the little Cheerios, doing playing games and doing things that help to strengthen your hands and get you to where you could understand how to use your motor skills, right? And so we're doing that all the time. We're learning how to use our motor skills. We're learning how to use a certain technique that we need for this next dream, for this next path. And so just trust everything you're dealing with, every little growing thing that you're going through. You don't always have to look at it as an obstacle. Just when something shows up, say, "Oop, I'm growing again." And that feels better, right? So from here on out, just look at life as when things show up that feel in the moment that they're not exactly what you want. And sometimes they can feel like it's way things you don't want. And instead of saying it's a problem, it's an obstacle, whatever it is, just say, "Whoop, here I go, growing again." And just continue to grow on your path. Trust the path to your dream, because then you know every step you take is leading you closer to your purpose. I embrace the journey with faith, courage, and gratitude. Faith that everything is working out exactly the way it's supposed to be, and then gratitude for every little thing along the way. Like I said this morning, when I woke up, gratitude, right? And look at everything as I just woke up. I learned something new, gratitude. And see how that changes your journey. Because you're going to be on this journey no matter what. You might as well figure out a way to enjoy it and make it yours. Make it yours. That's the thing, right? All right, so now let me take this off, and because I want to make sure if it'll all show up together. Let's see. I'm going to try it. Let's go for it. Okay, it's pretty close. Hold on one second. All right, so now our journal prompt. Where are we on time? Okay. All right, the journal prompt. This is going to be a little bit of self-reflection, right? Where in my life do I need to trust the process more? So where have you been questioning? Am I doing the right thing? Why is this not working? And how can I remind myself that every challenge or delay is shaping me for something greater? Like I just said, every time a challenge or a delay pops up, I'm growing. And give it a different name, because it's shaping you for something greater, something bigger, something that you're about to accomplish. It's all on that journey. So get excited every time something shows up, because it's making you stronger and it's getting you ready for something amazing. And as you reflect on this, write it down. Reflect and move forward with confidence. So I'm going to go back to the affirmation really quick. I'm getting short on time now. I'm a little long-winded, I guess. This is the affirmation. Make sure that you write it down. Put it on your sticky note, the screensaver on your phone, some index cards. And one of the things, I like index cards sometimes, because what I like to do, if you're going to be in the car a lot, is you write the affirmation down on an index card and you put it on your visor. You put it on one on each side, so that whether the visor's down for the sun or it's up, You can see when you stop at a stoplight or you stop at a stop sign, you stop somewhere, you can see that affirmation, and it's a reminder continuously about your path, right? So put it on a mirror with a chalk marker. Put it somewhere that today you're going to be reminded all day long. Trust your path to your dream, knowing that every step you take is leading you closer to your purpose, your purpose. Embrace the journey with faith, courage, and gratitude. Now, when you look at your card, your paper, your screensaver, whatever it is, take a breath and just say it out loud, but say it with feeling. I'm not saying say it with volume. Some people think that you have to shout it to the heavens, and maybe for them they do. I don't think we have to do that. I think we just give it some feeling, give it some emotion. You don't have to be screaming it. I went to a seminar quite a few years ago, and that was one of the things that they wanted was you were supposed to be shouting it like you were trying to reach the heavens, right? Well, all that did was give me a headache, and the people around me shouting gave me a headache, right? It did not make me feel connected to the actual affirmation. And I want you to connect. So how do you connect? You give it some emotion. You give it a feeling. You can really feel it. So today, say it with emotion. Every single time you see it, say it. I trust the path to my dream, knowing that every step I take is leading me closer to my purpose. I embrace the journey with faith, courage, and gratitude. Feel it, right? And then with our affirmation, like I'd say all the time, take some time to write it down in your notebook, in your journal, put the date, the affirmation, and the journal prompt, write it down. And then after you've written it down, you say it out loud, but then you're going to take 10 to 15 minutes just in silence. Before you start writing anything down, any answers, you're going to tap into the silence. You're going to breathe in, breathe out, and just focus on your breath. Getting that chatter as quiet as possible. Now, if you're anything like me, you're going to start, and then all of a sudden you're going to realize, wait a minute, I'm on a path thinking about what's the next email I'm going to send. What is it I'm going to have for breakfast? It's right. It just starts, you don't even realize it, and suddenly you're already there, right? So as soon as you notice it, don't condemn yourself for it because it's normal, right? So as soon as you notice it, you go, oh, okay, back to my breath. Breathe in, breathe out. And then when you notice the chatter again, you come back to your breath. But you're just getting in touch with your inner voice, your inner guidance, your God voice. You're connecting with this intuition inside, this who you are. Your subconscious, your superconscious, whatever you want to call it, right? You're tapping in to you, your inner knowing. And then when your timer goes off, and I would definitely suggest you set a timer because when you first start doing this, 10 minutes is going to feel like an hour, I will say. So you just tap into it, right? Get your timer set, get into the silence, keep coming back to your breath. And then when the timer goes off, you pick up your pen, and there is a connection between your inner voice, your subconscious mind, and your hand. And it's just like it will flow through you. And then you just write down anything that shows up. Even if when you first start, it is, I don't have a clue what I'm doing. I remember one of the times when I was doing this, that's what I don't know what my intuition is telling me. I don't know what my inner guidance is telling me. Come on, tell me something. And I just started writing. Well, then suddenly thoughts popped into my head, and I wrote those thoughts down, which at the time felt like they had zero to do with what I was trying to do, right? Write it down anyway. Just write it. And what will happen is as that stuff starts flowing through you, and the more you do this, the quicker that inner guidance starts flowing out. But there's a connection when you physically write it out. You know, they've even done studies, where are we on time? They've even done studies that students that take notes in class using a pen and a paper, or a pencil and a paper, but they're using their hand, they're not typing on the keyboard. They retain the information totally differently than the ones that actually type out. Even a voice note, it does not connect in the same way. So give it whatever you can give it. So when you write it, you're getting into more into your inner being, and it will mean more and you will retain more. So write it out. Write it down. Everything that comes up. Where in your life do you need to trust the process more? Where is that? Write it down. Where have you been questioning everything? And then how can I remind myself that every challenge or delay is shaping me for something greater? Write it down. Reflect on it. Everything you've written down is just for you. You don't have to share it with anybody. You don't have to do anything. But once you've written it down, then you can look and see what was going on. What did I need to know this morning? What did I need to know today? And then move forward with confidence, with a confidence that you've got this. Trust the process. Have faith, courage, and gratitude, because it's yours. Figure out what that dream is and make sure it's yours. Once you know your dream and what is important about it, because that's good to know too. Why is it your dream? What is it about that really lights you up and makes it feel like, oh, if that happened, I'd be unstoppable. If I had that, then I would feel like $1,000,000. If I had that, I could change the world. If I had that, I could help my family, my friends, my community. If I had that, I would feel so good in my skin. What is it that it gives you? What is it? Dream your dream with pride, courage, and gratitude. So, where in my life do I need to trust the process more? Where do you question it? How can I remind myself that every challenge or delay is shaping me for something greater? And remember what I said. Every time something shows up in your life that feels like it's a challenge, it's making things take longer, it's taking you away from whatever it is that you want to do. Oh, I'm growing again. And embrace it as growth and keep going towards your purpose. Right? Write it down, reflect, and move forward with confidence. You've got this. All right, so I've got to pop off here now, and I will say, have an amazing day filled with courage and purpose. And I will see you tomorrow, Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern. And if you get something valuable from this conversation, please, please say something in the comments. Actually, if you're here live, I know I can see there's some people here watching, and that's beautiful. I love you being here. But if you could come back and say, I loved this conversation because it meant this to me, I would love to know. I really would, because I do this every single day, and I always want to know that I'm touching on something significant for you, because it's always something significant for me. And I want to know that it has made a difference for you as well. All right. And if you're watching the replay, make sure you put hashtag replay. And see you tomorrow, 10 a.m. Mwah. Love you guys.